And just like many of us out there, in millions, but there is a season, and the season now is Nigeria 2015 election. The most important part of this message is please don't allow yourself to be used for any political violence. Look at the leaders, look at the way they interact, the way they talk to us, the way they behave. At the end of the day, they are only looking for that single vote that belongs to you. It's not a do or die affair. It's a do to vote very, very wisely. And that's the most important thing you can offer to them. At the end of the day, your vote do count. Thank you.
How are you, Mr. President? How are you, Mr. President? How is the campaign? How are you?
Hey, welcome to another wonderful day, Monday to be precise, coming to you all the way from United Kingdom, London. It is Ben Television, live stream online at www.bentelevision.com and on Sky platform here, channel 182, Freeview, channel 244. And for those on the StarTime network, channel 138, especially in Abuja, we say welcome. Those watching us global, it could be morning, afternoon, evening in your location. Welcome to another wonderful day. Nigeria, the most populous black nation in the world, #1 economy on the African continent, though some people might say that's not the best economy, but at least is the largest economy on the African continent. In the international community, we know what is happening. A lot of people are talking about the issues to do with economy. They're talking about tax evasion in the United Kingdom here. And of course, others are talking about what is happening in between Russia and Ukraine. But in the aspect of Syria, Turkey, and the 3 teenage girls from here in London going to Syria, that's another dimension that people are all monitoring and talking about. The Labour Party has brought back the former Deputy Prime Minister to come and support Ed Miliband in his campaign trail for 2015 election here in the United Kingdom. Is he able to do it? Is the Deputy Prime Minister still having that punch to deliver for the Labour Party, as the Tory already have 2-point lead over Labour Party in the United Kingdom? Well, as you talk about these 2 major international countries, you have no choice, as we say, reflecting on Nigeria, the most populous black nation in the world. With that, of course, comes the issues that are relevant to many Nigerians and the international community. Today on the program, we definitely have somebody who is very knowledgeable, somebody who has been there, somebody that is still there in the system, somebody that's monitoring the system, a publisher, a former presidential candidate, a politician, surely enough you can say, an entrepreneur, business leader, and an icon of Nigeria internationally, Chief Dele Momodu. You're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Chairman.
Welcome.
Thanks so much.
It's good to have you in the week in London that many international Nigerians, leading politicians, happen to be in London. And by coincidence, likewise, you're in London. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Well, we're talking about Nigeria, especially in this season for us here, because Nigeria is very important to the world. Nigeria is important to everybody that has interest of Africa as a whole. Now, bear in mind, you are Nigerians, you have monitored Nigeria, but actually even before jumping into that, let me quickly go back as a publisher. How has it been for you, the transition from publishing to politician? Because from P to P, I think that's P square.
Well, for me, politics is a part-time vocation. I don't see how and why anyone should make politics a career. I think one of the biggest problems we have in Africa, and Nigeria in particular, is the fact that most of our politicians have nothing to do outside politics. So politics is something I've been involved in since 1982, just as soon as I graduated from the then University of Ife. By the time I was 23, in 1983, I was already a private secretary to the then Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Chief Akeomoboriwo. And then thereafter, by the time I was 26, I worked for His Imperial Majesty, the Oni of Ife, Oba Okunadeshijuade Olugbuche II. And of course, we had a lot of political visitors, either to the palace or to the hotel, Motel Royal Limited, which I managed. And thereafter, of course, I came to Lagos in 1988 and joined the Concord newspapers, and I interacted with politicians. So practically, I've been in politics, but it's always been part-time. I only went into it in the last 5 or 6 years when I got tired of complaining and grumbling about Nigeria. We all lament like Jeremiah. Everybody complains, Nigeria is bad. And I love to liken it to like a beauty pageant. People say, oh, Miss Nigeria is ugly, Miss Ghana is ugly. But you have a pretty daughter at home, and you are not ready or willing to allow your daughter to participate in the beauty contest. Then you have no right to complain. That's what drove me into it. I believed at that time, Babangida said he couldn't find any young man who can do it. You see, leadership is not rocket science. Leadership is about managing people and resources. And when you now allow those who have never managed people or resources to take over power, trust me, you are bound to have problems. And that is what we're suffering today. Most of the people who are in government, who are in positions of leadership, have never managed 1 million. Suddenly, you give him a budget of billions or even running into trillions. There is no way he will not lose his sanity.
So how then do we, let me quickly take that line, that if people have not been in leadership position or run business, really they shouldn't be given the opportunity. But then how do we get to that stage of having people?
So it's now for us. You can see that things are changing. I watched Governor Amusun the other day. But before Amusun became a senator or a governor, he ran a business. He was an accountant. If you look at a man like Peter Obi, before he became governor, he was a banker. So now we're beginning to have more and more people. As a matter of fact, you don't have to be a politician to be a leader. Okonjo Iweala is probably one of the most powerful people in Nigeria today. Madam Ngozi is not a politician. It's only of reason that I noticed that they tried to drag her into politics. Yes, so if you look at Adesina, and everybody is saying he's doing well in agriculture, he wasn't a politician. That's leadership. So, as a matter of fact, leadership has more to do with your own personal qualities than your ability as a politician. Because politicians in Africa are trained to maneuver and manipulate things one way or the other. Whereas professionals, technocrats, are taught to deliver. Because if you hire someone here today as the chairman of Ben TV and the person is not performing, you have the power to hire and fire.
That's correct.
That's it.
That's correct. So, which means Nigeria gained her independence in 1960. You surely been a writer as well. How will you compare technically, probably the 1970s, 80s, and the present day situation in Nigeria?
Well, I don't know why we're so unfortunate. I think with the termination of the First Republic, when the military took over, I think that's when we started losing everything. Then, you know, we went through one of the most horrendous civil wars in human history, with millions of people lives lost to that war. So since then, Gawan was overthrown. Then you had Obasanjo, who tried to give us a semblance of democracy when he handed over power to Shagari. Of course, the politicians, for one reason or the other, started misbehaving. Profligacy was at its highest. And then the Buhari regime came. Buhari did some months, and then Babangida came. So we've never really had a period like this. This is the first time we had a straight 16-year grace of running a democratic system of government. I won't say government now, I will say system of government. Because even in between that democracy, you begin to see flashes of tyranny, of dictatorship, of intolerance, of politicians fighting, exchanging fisticuffs, as if it is a matter of life and death. So, but I think if we are fortunate and we can tackle successfully this forthcoming election, and then whoever wins, we accept him, and whoever loses, accepts the winner, then I personally will be convinced that maybe finally we're getting closer to a democratic governance in Nigeria.
Talking about democratic governance in Nigeria as well, you are known definitely to be a wonderful, powerful writer, more like an activist actually before the 2011. But then you have written on almost every leader in Nigeria. And presently as well, you're still writing, but a lot of people might feel that your writing now is towards another candidate. How will you describe that?
You see, I learned that from living abroad. I was in exile in England for years. And I've studied that Nigerians sometimes don't understand how the media works. There is, you see, there is what we call balancing in journalism.
Yes.
Balancing, for example, maybe I'm writing a story about Ben TV now, then I can balance it. But there's also what they call opinion. And there's also what they call endorsement. The Sun newspaper, you will realize before this election, the Sun newspaper will endorse either the Labour candidate or the Conservative Party candidate. That's how it works. If you look at America, you will know that Fox News never supported Obama. So that's what we're doing now, especially when a nation is in crisis like Nigeria is right now. You cannot sit on the fence. You must do something. I've always done something, right from 1978 in Ife. During the Ali Must Go, we did not sit on the fence. When any crisis, you will find us right in the 1993, that's what got me into trouble. I was put in detention, and then when Abacha came, I had to run for my dear life and came over to England. So it's nothing new that I'm doing now. What happened, for example, in 2010, when the Yar'Adua cabal refused to hand over to Goodluck Jonathan as acting president, I was one of those who went on the streets of Abuja and demonstrated. The police grabbed my neck. I didn't do it because I was a member of PDP. I did it as an activist. So what I'm doing now is I've looked at the last 4 or 5 years. I am not convinced that this is where I want Nigeria to be, and it is my choice. I was one of those who criticized Buhari, for example, in 2011. I had a meeting with him prior to our election because at a stage he was worried that I was just firing from all cylinders. And he invited me over and we met, and I saw a gentleman.
That was in Lagos.
Yes, a very respected and respectable man. And now, today, a lot of us who felt maybe he was too old or because he was a dictator have changed our minds. And it's not for anything. He doesn't have money to give anybody, because in Nigeria, when you support a candidate, people say it's because of money. Fortunately for us, we're not supporting a man who has money. So rather, we would rather contribute what we have, towards his campaign. We just realized that Nigeria needs a few things urgently. We need a disciplined leader. Disciplined. It is true that largely we have thrown discipline to the winds. We need a man who himself is not corrupt. Oh, people say, but the people around him are corrupt. Yeah. But it's like a father. When you respect your father, you will be afraid to do certain things. Right now, Nigerians need that father figure. They had it in South Africa. They had a Mandela. Mandela was 75 when he contested the election. When Awolowo and Azikiwe were contesting elections, they were already in their 70s. So there is nothing new about that. If Hillary Clinton, even in America, with all the young people who are leaders in America, if she decides to run, she will be about 70 by the time she runs.
Yes.
So the issue of age or whatever, that one does not bother me any longer. So we just have to see how things go. But for me, I'm a member of opposition. And as a member of opposition, I believe that all opposition forces must come together and support a leading candidate.
A leading candidate. And another question, of course, as I said, you were on an event over the weekend in London. Yeah. Now, some people ask the question saying that how can the people around him not become the people in government if he's elected as the president?
You see, the central government, or what we call the federal government in Nigeria, is so large And I can tell you personally, if I'm the president of Nigeria today, I will sit down my party chieftains and explain to them that if ever we're going to make a difference in this country, we have to make use of the best. Like I said earlier on, I don't think Okojo-Iweala had to be a member of PDP before being appointed minister.
Yes.
I don't think Adesina or Adanga Williams or anybody was. Do you understand? So if a Segun Adanga can be a minister, if Okonjo-Iweala can be a minister, if Obi Ezekwesili can be a minister, so be it. Right now, what we need is a great football team, a star-studded team, where when you look to the left, you see a Messi. When you look to the right, you see a Ronaldo. That is what governance is turning into in the world. Everybody is making use of their best. So that father figure is there. But he has a team of highly intelligent people to support him. So that's why when people talk about age, Buhari doesn't have to do much. A president doesn't have to do much. A president gives inspiration. A president is the heart of the government. And you see all the arteries and everything and the blood pumping all over. So as long as he can assemble the best materials Nigeria can afford, anywhere in the world, wherever they are, bring them home to change Nigeria. But if we hand over Nigeria to hardcore politicians, then the day I see his team, I will know if we will fail or pass. And right from the time I started writing about 30 or more years ago, I've always predicted, if you start a newspaper today, the first thing I go and check, who is there? Oh, dele, okay, the Ekpo, oh, Dana Gbese, Yakubu Muhammad. Then you know these are big names. But the moment you go there, you can't even see one face that you know who is accomplished in any way, in any sphere of human endeavor.
There's a problem.
There is a problem.
Well, we're speaking to Chief Dele Momodu, a publisher, a leading Nigerian political commentator and a politician, but number one that people know him about is his entrepreneurial skill across the West African region, Africa as a whole, and of course in the international community here in the diaspora. Let's take our first caller. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
My name is Adibwe, and I'm calling from Aberdeen.
Okay, you're welcome.
I've got 3 questions to ask, if you don't mind. But before my question, I personally want to commend him because of I had some opinion about him which changed 3 years back. He's an employer of labor back in Nigeria, and I have a friend that worked for him some time ago, and his personal testimony about him is quite straightforward. What an average Nigerian employer is. So you see an average Nigerian employer as a boss, and
can you talk a bit louder?
I say you see an average Nigerian employer as a god, and they treat their staff as slaves. But I can say confidently that Chief Dele Momodu is not like that, and I want to commend him and I want to encourage him to keep on the good work. I mean, how he treats his employees.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic employer, and I want to commend him for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now to my question. There's so much rumor, which I know is all lies, about General Buhari's act. I know he's been in London and he attended a program a few days back. And I want him publicly to throw more light on General Buhari's act. And that's my first question. The second one is about the media around General Buhari. I think the media around him, I mean his personal media team, are not doing enough in terms of enlightening the public about the personality of General Buhari and about his act. And that is why you see a talk like Fayoshi coming up with different lies in the media. There should be a counter scale to put the perspective, the perspective right to the public as to what is happening to General Muhammad Buhari. We is fun, we know they are not right, but there are some people out there that are not sure, that are beginning to believe all these lies from Fayoshi and Co. Buhari need to really be proactive. They need to speak up. They don't need. I think General Buhari is not the kind of president that speaks a lot, but the people around him, the media team around him, enlightening the public, they should be very proactive to counter all these lies about him. And the last one is that just an encouragement as well to Jimmy Momodu, that somebody like him, we need him to contest for elected positions. The last time he contested for president, although I supported him, but I knew he wasn't going to win, obviously. But we need him to contest for elected positions, like maybe going to the Senate, maybe contesting for a governor of your state. We need to see people like you that will test it that that in foreign business and that successful in their business to be in power. Not all these professional politicians that all they know is just to lie and to siphon public money.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let me discuss the questions a bit, about 3 in total. Let me start by thanking Mr. Nosoya for your generous words about my life as an employer of labor. I can tell you it is never so easy. You may still find 1 or 2 people who won't like us for one reason or the other, but I thank you, and I don't know who spoke to you, but I thank whoever it is that, well, we will continue to do our best for Nigeria, because the more people we can take off the streets, the better for all of us. Now to your specific questions on General Buhari, let me start by telling you that I'm not a member of APC. I am a sympathizer and a supporter and a volunteer, and I believe that there are more non-politicians in Nigeria than politicians. The mistake we all make is that we believe you have to belong to a party before you can make your contributions. I'm making my personal contributions. But I want to assure you that General Buhari, I will never say what I don't know. I'm an investigative journalist and I have enough contacts. I can assure you that General Buhari is in London and is not in any hospital. I can assure you that General Buhari met with Tony Blair along with Governor Amosu and Senator Bukola Saraki. We put these pictures out. You see, there are always doubting Thomases everywhere. There is nothing you can do about them. Even if some people see Jesus tomorrow, they will still say he is not Jesus. Are people not doubting even the existence of Jesus? Even if you go to Jerusalem today, some people will tell you that it's all fantasy. So don't worry too much about that. But we will continue to do whatever we can do to support the man. About his media team, I'm not a member of his media team, but I will speak to Shehu Gaba and others and tell them to jazz up whatever they are doing in the area of media. He's a very healthy man. Don't forget that the man was a general in the army. He keeps very fit. I met his wife 2 days ago. I met his daughter. I met Mrs. Oshimbajo. And we had a function in an hotel in Westminster. So if the husband is in hospital and there is cause for alarm, I don't think we'll come and sit down in a bar. The place was a bar, you know, and everybody were taking pictures, everybody was joyous. And I know that yesterday, I know some of the man's activities, I know some of the powerful people he met with even yesterday. I know that even yesterday, former Governor Kayode Fayemi arrived in London and met with General Buhari. I posted the pictures on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. I'm aware that Malam Nasir El-Rufai is in town. In fact, Governor Fayemi left him in General's apartment yesterday. So I don't know where Fayemi is getting all these things. To be quite honest with you, I don't want to go into all that. I know how people carry rumors about celebrities all over the world. Right now, General Buhari is the biggest star out of Nigeria. And naturally, people must take interest in both his public and private life. It is normal. But to worry yourself, and I will tell you, so if they say he's in hospital, on Thursday you will see him at Chatham House. So that's the last thing I will say on General Buhari now, that on Thursday he's been invited to give a speech. So if you see him on a wheelchair or he has drips, he's carrying drips while he is talking, then you will know. I don't know why you will wish death on your political opponent. I don't understand it.
Let's take the
there is an aspect of me. I've already answered the first two together. Yes. The last one is about why am I not contesting to go to the Senate? No, I've told you, if you listen to my intro, that I'm a part-time politician. I went for the presidency because I realized one thing. Until the day we get that number one man, forget about Senate, forget about anything, it will not work. Only one man is the heart of the nation. If that heart is not functioning, the whole body is gone.
Wow.
That is the thing. I'm not interested in being a senator or a governor or anything. I wanted to be a president. And now that I found a father figure that I feel, okay, let's try him. He's done it before. He may not have been perfect. He's learned his lessons. He's respected. I watched Chris Amanpour on CNN when she was interviewing General Buhari. I've never seen that woman respect anyone like that. Nigeria needs a respectable leader. Someone that at his age, the man is so charismatic. You can see the man now, they dress him up in suits. He looks, he looks different. So let's have, India has a man like that. Right now, the Indian president is not a young man. We've had, even I met the president of South Africa as far back as 2009. At his age, the man is charismatic. It was when I met him, I realized why his people love him so much. It's about personal courage. People say all kinds of things about the man, yet the people say we love him.
Yeah.
That's democracy. Right now, people are saying they love Buhari. If some people don't like him, let them promote their own candidate instead of running after the destruction of the man. I have no problem with anyone supporting President Jonathan. He's a good man, he's a gentleman, he's our leader. We respect him. But in democracy, it's beyond that. So personally, I'm not interested in contesting any election. As long as I find good people to support, I'm cool with it.
Thank you. Next caller, your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah, hello, good morning. My name is John. I'm calling from Cambo.
Cambo, okay.
Yes. Mr. Dele Momodu, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, my question goes this way. At least, you will agree with me that Nigerian election we cannot rule out ethnicity. You will agree with me with that. Almost 3 times, the same Oni of Ife was part of the people who did a meeting in Awolowo's White House regarding the way Jonathan administration has been dealing with Yoruba. But to my surprise, I'm surprised with all these Afenifere group coming out now to say we should support Jonathan. I'm expecting them to tell me one particular project that Jonathan has done in Osun State. I'm from Ipetu Ijesha, and I know you know that place. One particular project Jonathan has done in the Osun State, apart from Choppy. Choppy is a political something. You cannot see that as a job. It's a political. Because once you live there, another government can cancel it. You should tell me one particular project that he did in Osun State. Yours. I'm surprised for all these leaders as a Yoruba to be telling us now, just because of conference. How long will any president deceive us about conference? When they were AD in all Yoruba land, they were not thinking of conference at that time. For them to fight to their common goal, they refused at that time. It's now they are telling us. Okay,
let me allow the Chief Dele to answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You didn't give us your name, but I know Ipetu Ijesha very well. I think that's where Erastus Akigbola's mom comes from. She was very close to my mother. We grew up together in Ile-Ife. On the issue of ethnicity, well, it's something we must try to discourage, but even in America, it's a major factor. I mean, you have the Latinos, they are a force to reckon with. Now you have the African Americans. Nobody can ignore them. My problem with this presidency is that it was like some people misled him. For a long time, I kept reminding him that the day you become the president of a country, you forget where you come from, because you instantly become the father of the nation. What happened was that a lot of people gave the impression that the president can survive without other parts. Because if you look at it seriously, I don't think there is any Yoruba man from number 1 to number 10 positions in Nigeria. And I don't know how that happened. But now the president is forced to spend more time in Yoruba land, going from king to king, chief to chief, market woman to market woman. And you would have spared yourself all these things if you had evenly distributed what belonged to all of us. Well, on the issue of Afenifere, me, I'm a very frank person. Afenifere is using the conference as excuse. Don't believe that. Every politician has a personal agenda.
Interesting.
But the clearest of it, I will tell you free of charge, is that the Afenifere had problems with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Don't forget that when we came back from exile, we were all reporting to the Afenifere leader in Ijebu-Igbo, the late Abraham Adesoya. But somewhere along the line, of course, Tinubu became governor. Tinubu began to build his own political structures, you know, and some people were not too comfortable. But I think, especially after the exit of Adesoya, they thought Tinubu had become uncontrollable. Or in life, even your own children will take their freedom one day. You know, so they should have given it to him, that the man made his own contributions. If they have problems with him, I believe they could talk to him. Some of us disagree with Tinubu, and Tinubu has never fought us. We tell him, sir, these things should not go this way. He listens. He is a tactician. But I think these people just gave up on Tinubu, and now they want to visit whatever sins of Tinubu on the entire Yoruba nation. Because, I mean, I'm looking at it now, like the man said, I can't find any justification why anybody at this time, what is the development? Look, the only road between Lagos and Ibadan, till today, they have not completed it. They say they are doing it. In how many years? PDP has been in power for 16 years. They have not done it.
But good Lord Jonathan said he's fixing the road now.
Oh, the road here is fixing it, but he has not fixed it. The road from Benin, every time I watch the television, I see the advert that we have done the Ore road.
They say they have done the Ore road.
Oga, go and drive on it. The road terminates in Ore. What happens between Ore and Shagamu? It's still one of the best, one of the worst, and one of the most dangerous roads today in Africa. They keep deceiving us. Oh, we fix it, we fix that. Look at the airport. At least I pass through the airport almost every week. Is that, are you proud? With all the money pumped into that airport, and people are saying, oh, after all they've done. No. Whatever we do for the amount of money, if you are a private, in this office, you are paying for this office. If you get here and everything has collapsed, you won't give any excuses. You want it done. That is what I expect from Nigeria. So in Yoruba land, really, there is nothing. But I don't think it's only about Yoruba land. Wherever you go in Nigeria right now, there are problems. It's even one of the reasons why I say, let us consider the other people. Maybe tomorrow, other leaders will learn from it that if you underperform, we're not saying he has not performed. I'm not a wicked man to say, oh, Jonathan has done nothing. No. You have performed, but you have underperformed. To whom much is given, much is expected. So tomorrow, someone will learn from it that. So you can actually remove an incumbent president for underperformance. Oh, then that's democracy. We're not sure what these people will do, but we can see flashes of hope. Go to Lagos, you have a Fashola. Go to Ogun, you have an Amusu. Go to Ibadan, you have Ajumobi. Go to Edo, you have Adams Oshiomhole. Go to Rivers, you have an Amechi. Go to Kano. If you see Kano today, you will not believe, I mean, you grew up in the north. What the Kwankwaso is doing, if you go to Nasarawa, you see Al-Makura. And when you bring all these people together under a central government, hopefully they will be able to do better than what we have presently.
Hopefully. Let's take our next caller. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
My name is Tafe. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Afe, right?
No, Daffy.
Daffy. Okay, you're welcome.
My name is Daffy. I'm calling from Crystal Palace. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. First, I need to start with this election, should I say mix-up? The only man in my generation that has won an election in Nigeria in my time is Chief MKO Abiola. That's the only man that has won an election that everybody, whether you're Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, everybody voted for that man. And the same people, the same northern cabal, were the same people that decided that man from ruling Nigeria. Okay, today we are not talking about Buhari. I'm not talking against Buhari. I remember when I was still back home that time. I remember when Buhari was head of state. Buhari's government was a very, very disciplined government. I remember that. With the great Tunde Diago, that government was a formidable government. All right, today we're talking about Jonathan. The problem about Nigeria is we forget too easily. That is our problem. That's why I listened. Remember last week I said BBC. It was nothing relative to BBC in England. When fella said BBC, he said big blind country. That's what fella said. And that's what we are teaching tomorrow. The same fella said original Suffolk. I'm talking about when Nigeria was good. I'm talking about when I was in Nigeria, when you could not spend 5 naira. Everything you wanted, you could buy everything with 5 naira. Mm-hmm. Okay, today we are not talking about Buhari. Buhari. To be quite sincere, in my books, I have the most respect for Buhari. But I still remember we said Nigerians, when Buhari's government was overthrown, everybody was on the streets jubilating.
So
the man that was changing things.
So your question, Dafe. Your question, Dafe.
Yeah, I remember when Buhari was overthrown.
Yeah, what's the question so that Dele can answer?
What's my question? Okay.
Yeah.
What I want to Dele, what I just want to quickly say to you is this. Yeah, you're a strong media mogul. I respect you and everything, but we need to face the facts. Men like you, men of your age group, should be the men that should be ruling Nigeria today. We cannot keep on going back to the old soldiers. Soldier go, soldier come. We have to stop all that mentality. Your life, the life of Ibadu, those are the kind of men, those are the generation that should be taking over the power of Nigeria today.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dafe.
It's very easy. I answered it before, and I will answer it again. Thank you about your comment on Chief MKO Abiola, who happened to be my mentor. And I can tell you, I don't believe that it was the Northern Cabal that overthrew or annulled that election, though it was headed by a Northerner, General Ibrahim Babangida.
Yes.
The truth of the matter is that Nigeria is a mafia nation. I wrote about it a few months back. And in that mafia, you have Yoruba, you have Igbo, you have Hausa. You may have more Hausa because they have ruled more than any other part of Nigeria. But they came together and decided that, no, we're not going to give it to Abiola. The same thing almost happened about 2 weeks ago. You see, once the mafia sits in council, they come together. If they had agreed that day that election was over and we want something else, we will all shout and scream and everything, nothing is going to happen.
Really?
That's how it works. Yes, it's a mafia nation. And there are, at the highest level of that mafia nation, you have less than 10 people. Less than 10 who decide what you and I can do, how far we can go in our country. I will take you back to 1999 when Chief Olufalaye was contesting against Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. I was supporting Falaye then. And I recommended to Falaye that we should look for a Northerner who is very well educated, very civilized, very exposed, and all that. And I suggested the name of Dr. Rilwan Lukman, who was at the OPEC in Vienna. And Chief Olufalaye said, oh, that would be a good idea. I said I have his contact and I can talk to him. And I traveled to Vienna, met with Dr. Rilwan Lukman, now of blessed memory. And that night, he shocked me to my bones. We were having dinner somewhere and he said, look, Dele, thank you for considering me for the post of vice president, but I won't be able to do it. I said, sir, why? A lot of people are lobbying to get this. He said, no. He said, look, those who control Nigeria, they don't sleep. They meet in the night. He said 2 a.m., 3 a.m., these guys are meeting right now, and he can tell me, because he knows them very well, that they've decided that it's Obasanjo. So Nigeria is not just about election. That's why you see all of them now, including the president, going from Babangida. He has visited Babangida twice during his campaign. Same way, Buhari, who was overthrown by Babangida, has gone to him because he recognizes him as a member of that mafia. Oh yes, Nigerians can shout, oh, Babangida is this, is that. He's still a powerful member of that mafia. Abdulsalami Abubakar is still a member of that mafia. Obasanjo is the baba of them. I'm telling you, because yes, he has the guts. Obasanjo is not afraid. He's ready to say anything. So they all respect him, the de facto. That's why everybody calls him Baba Baba. Even when Babangida was speaking on Channels TV about 2 weeks ago, he kept saying my boss. And in fact, Kadira had to ask, who is your boss? And he said, Obasanjo. So that's the thing. The mafia annulled the election. But Babangida, as a military man, I believe is not able to come out to reveal or expose what actually transpired. But one day, when that secret will come out, you will realize that Babangida did not do that thing alone. He could not have done it alone. It's not possible.
Wow. Nigeria, the most populous black nation, the number one economy on the African continent.
Aha. Then on the issue of age, that's also very important. Jonathan is a much younger man. He's only about 3 years older than me. But then, see the mess we are in. So Nigerians are now saying it can no longer be just about age. Even in our families, when there are tribulations, in the days of tribulations, you run to the elders of the house. That's what Nigerians are doing now. That we need a father figure to stabilize us, to take us through the grills, so that we can know more about life. It seems that we're just doing things haphazardly. The direction Nigeria is going now, nobody understands it. So we need someone who can bring all of us together as a father figure. And trust me, if the young men are not doing it right, then we have to go back to those who can help us put us back on the right path.
On the right path. Hello, your caller, your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, my name is Tina. I'm calling from Essex.
Okay, Tina, welcome to the program.
Yeah. I have questions to the gentleman. I'm not a politician. This is the first time I'm calling on this issue. I have a few questions for him. Yes. Concerning these parties we have a lot of parties in Nigeria. We have up to 10 or more, as I understand. But the ones we know is PDP and APC. Now, my question to the gentleman is, what policies does this APC and PDP have? Because I have not had their policies whatsoever. And I understand it's the same people running from PDP to APC. APC to PDP, they are just jumping up and down. And my question is, what will they change if they put APC in power? What would they change? I haven't had nothing whatsoever what they're going to do for the country. And then again, it's like we're recycling the same people. Since I've been a child, up till now, it's the same name I've been hearing. I've never had no new name whatsoever.
Okay.
Now, don't we have opportunities to put younger generation in power? I know Buhari he has been the head of state some time ago. I was little that time. Now he's still there. Does it mean we don't have nobody else?
Okay.
To take that Nigeria forward?
Thank you, Tina.
And then
yes.
Lady Tina, thank you for your observation. It's still along the same lines as Mr. Daffy.
That's correct.
You know, about this age, there are new people in politics, madam. I can tell you, every day new people are gaining power in Nigeria. But the reason you feel you are still seeing the same people is because we're talking about the central government. It's a very powerful government. And you are talking about the president of Africa's most populous nation, the biggest economy on the continent. So definitely a lot of interest will be thrown up. I don't see what is wrong with us having two strong parties. Even in America, You have two strong. There are other parties, nobody remembers them. In this England where we are, there are other parties, nobody remembers them. In fact, until Nick Clegg became a deputy prime minister, I doubt if anybody would ever have expected that anyone outside the Conservative Party or the Labour can be. So that is why we are saying if Buhari gets to power, Buhari has to look beyond APC. Nigerians are Nigerians. The total population of PDP, if all the political parties in Nigeria put together, I doubt if it will be over 20 million. I doubt it. So what then happens to the other 150 million? I call them the floaters party. That's actually the biggest party in Africa, the floaters in Nigeria. About 150 million people are floating somewhere. They don't even know whether they want to vote or not, and they don't know who they want to vote for. So they must reach out to the floaters and get some of them also into government. So that's what we call the government of national unity. You need to bring your best team together, wherever they are, whether they are in politics or not, and then they can save Nigeria from this mess, because it's a big mess.
Well, next caller, hello, your name and where you're calling from before we go on a break.
Yeah, my name is Norbert Okolofle.
Okay, you're calling from?
London.
London, okay, Morgan.
Okay, I'm on air now.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I've got a question. I've got something to say to Chief Momodu, if he's listening.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
The truth remains, first and foremost, I want to bring certain things to play. From day one, the problem we're having in Nigeria today is as a result that may so rest in peace the former president here as well, because he passed on. What I want to know today is that if that man has finished his tenure and Goodluck has contested, Nigeria will not be having these problems that we're having today. The problem we're having today is because the Northerners felt that it was their turn, but invariably, man proposes, God disposes. The man we're talking about here as well, Pastor, and the vice president had to take over. We all know what happened before he was allowed to take over and he was sworn in. You understand?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, my problem is if Yar'Adua has finished his tenure as president, all these problems happening in Nigeria today will not be happening. Because the problem we have in Nigeria today is just as a result of the Northerners believing that everything belongs to them.
Okay, Morgan, what's your comment so that Chief Dele can quickly?
I can understand what he's
my
trying to
comment
say.
is this. Nobody owns Nigeria. I'm very surprised to hear a man like Dele Momodu coming on air to say Nigeria is owned by cabal. And that is what we
It's the reality.
are saying we don't want anymore. If they can cope with that, we are saying no. It's a big revolution from the youth. The youth, we don't want any cabal. We are going to decide with our vote. And if at the end of the day, the cabal that Dele Momodu was talking about and saying our vote count, then we the youth, we know what to do.
Okay. Morgan, before you go, are you able to vote in Nigeria presently? Do you have a PVC card? Okay.
Okay, I will start from the end. You misquoted me. If you listened to what I said Nigeria is controlled by cabal. I said at the highest level you have less than 10 people.
Yes.
There are other levels of this cabalism. Okay? And when you talk about a cabal, it's not, you think it's about the north of Nigeria. That's the mistake people make. The cabal comprises of people from different ethnic groups. The cabal just means that at that highest level, there are certain decisions they will not take in Nigeria today without talking to a Sultan of Sokoto, without coming to the Oni of Ife, or the Alaafin of Oyo, or going to the Awujale of Ijebu. Do you understand? So when we talk about cabalism, there are different sections. You have those who are former presidents, you have those who are former ministers, you have those who are tribal chiefs or kings or monarchs. You have different layers of people like that who determine what goes on in Nigeria. Then what is happening at the moment is spiritual. The fact that we can talk about Buhari today, for me, is very spiritual. Because contrary to what you are saying, that the problem is because the North wants to take power by force. Are those people shouting Buhari and change in Lagos, in Ibadan, in Oyo, are they from the North? They are not. Yeah, no. It's about performance. There are people who, of course, want power. Give that to them. They want it. But are you saying those of us who are now supporting Buhari that we want to hand over power to the North? That's why we're supporting him. No, that has nothing to do with it. We're looking at the problems of Nigeria. Those problems now transcend religion. It transcends ethnicity. And we are saying we have found a man, he's a Nigerian. The constitution of Nigeria is clear on it. For you to be a president, you must first of all be a Nigerian. It's not about you being a northerner. It's not about you being an Ijaman. So, and it is your ability to now carry other ethnic groups along. If you are not able to, and that's why we kept warning when people were abusing the northerners, they are blind, they are this, there are people who are abusing them. We said the president is going to need these people. You have 19 states in the north. You have 17 in the south. Please, whether you like it or not, you better go and see how you are going to get as many states. Today, the biggest states with the largest votes in Nigeria belong to APC. The first is Lagos, followed by Kano. They are both under the control of APC governors. The other populous cities like Ibadan, like Sokoto, like Maiduguri, River State, they are all under APC. Imo State is under APC. Benin City is under, Edo State is under APC. So how do you want to be a president if you cannot win votes in those places? It's impossible. It's not about any cabal or anything. That's why it's spiritual. The thing started with the cabal thinking we can control everything. But now the thing has spiraled out of control. They can no longer even put their fingers on it. That's why right now they are confused. They don't know whether to do election or not to do election. They are still planning all sorts as we speak. I can tell you, the cabal. I spoke to some members last week who told me that there is no way Buhari will be their president. My reply was, well, God is more powerful than all of us. And if God says it will be, if God says it's Jonathan, I don't have anything against Jonathan. So we must understand our country. What I realized that we speak a lot of grammar, theory, and everything, but we must take more time to study the peculiarities of our country.
Wow. Nigeria, good people, great nation. The peculiarity of our people is so diverse, as much as we have the 36 state plus the FCT, more than 200 different ethnic groups. And of course, when you talk about languages, there are just too many in Nigeria. So we're grateful that we still have Chief Dele Momodu here with us. We go on a short break, and when we come back, Nigeria indeed is in the eye of the world. Stay with us.
How are you, Mr. President? How is the campaign?
I'm a passionate Nigerian, just like many of us out there, in millions. But there's a season, and the season now is Nigeria 2015 election. The most important part of this message is please don't allow yourself to be used for any political violence. Look at the leaders, look at the way they interact, the way they talk to us, the way they behave. At the end of the day, they are only looking for that single vote that belongs to you. It's not a do or die affair. It's a do to vote very, very wisely. And that's the most important thing you can offer to them. At the end of the day, your vote do count. Thank you.
Morning, Mr. President. Morning, sir. How are you, Mr. President? How is the campaign? How are you? Thank you, sir.
This land of mine, Nigeria, on my mind, born in diversity, blessed beyond compare.
Àsìkò ìbò tuntun dé fún àwọn ará Nàìjíríà. Ta lẹ fẹ́ yàn fún ìjọba Nàìjíríà? Ṣé PDP ni àbí APC àbí pátì mìíràn tó wà níta? Ẹ má jọ kán lóyìn fún ìjà tó bẹ́ẹ̀ láti yan anybody ní Nàìjíríà. Torí bẹ́ẹ̀ la fi sọ pé kẹ́ lo nǹkan tó wà lọ́wọ́ yín, ìgbò kan, èèyàn kan, kẹ́ fún ẹni tó yẹ kó jẹ́ ẹni tó dáa fún Nàìjíríà. Nǹkan tá a sọ fún gbogbo ayé nìyẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ ó dáa fún wa ní Nàìjíríà, ẹ jọ̀ọ́.
In our unity, peace, our destiny. Here we are. Standing tall. We're standing tall. We are one. We are 100 years of unity. Nigeria. We will stand.
Salamu alaikum mutanen mu na yan arewa, lokaci mutanen mu na yan Najeriya lokacin siyasa ya matso. Yanzu ga yana an ce a tayi siyasa. Abinda muke roƙon mutane kowa da kowa kar ku yadda a sanya ku kuje ku yaki kuje ku faɗa. Saboda siyasa mi siyasa ku je ku ɗauki wanda za ku ke so. In PDP ce ko APC, in Buhari ne ko Goodluck. Tsakanin ku ga Allah ku ɗauki wanda ya kamata, ku zaɓi wanda ya kamata. Saboda haka muna roƙo, muna addu'a. Allah taimaka mana a Najeriya.
Morning, sir. How are you, Mr. President? How is the campaign? How are you? Thank you, sir.
Welcome back. We're still live here on www.bentelevision.com for those who are watching us online, and of course on Sky channel 182 here, the first ethnic TV station in Europe, and Freeview channel 244, and of course those watching in Nigeria on the StarTime network. We still have a special guest, Chief Dele Momodu, publisher, a part-time politician, entrepreneur of international standard. We're talking about Nigeria, and as he said, he's definitely not an APC as per se member, but he is an opposition member in the Nigerian political terrain, and somebody that has definitely mingled and meet most of the people now. Nigerians are trying to pick one of them to become the president come March 28th of this year. And of course, April 11th is the day for electing the governors across the 36 states in Nigeria. So we thank you for still being with us. It is an interactive program as we continue to pick from his knowledge and skills on the on Nigeria as a nation. Do we still have a caller on the line? Okay, while I wait for that call to come through. Chief Dele, when people really look at the Nigeria of today, so we're still talking about maybe the mafia or the cabal. People brought to our attention, for example, that the naira now is more than 200 $1 is more than 200 naira, and the pound is more than 300 naira. Is that based on the oil and gas situation around the world, or could there be anything that Nigeria can do as a nation to try to reduce this inflation that we're seeing that is so
the answer to your question is like doing a PhD thesis, because there are so many factors that can affect a nation's currency. The first is that we did not save for the rainy day. There was a time when we were realizing so much money from oil and we blew it all. There was a time when President Obasanjo paid back our debts in full.
Yes.
And now we are acquiring more. In fact, it is so bad that the president had to go to the Senate the other day to request for permission to borrow $1 billion to fight Boko Haram.
Yes.
That's a lot of money. Okay? So our external reserve has been depleted. That's the long and short of what is going on. And when you don't have external reserve, you don't have, it's like you don't having Forex to run your organization. So things will go wrong. Then number 3 is that because of the election, there are uncertainties. So a lot of investors who ordinarily will bring in their investment into your country, they want to stay back and watch events unfold and see if the country will be okay or everything will scatter. Then again, you also have politicians who no longer believe in the use of the naira. They don't spend naira, they spend dollars. So you can put $10,000 in someone's pocket now, nobody will see it. Whereas if you carry 1 million, the whole world will see the Ghana must go back. Yes. So this also will affect. So the demand, the pressure on the dollar in Nigeria is unprecedented right now. You hear of a party raising 21 billion in one night in Abuja to fight the election. So the bulk of that 21 billion is going to be changed into hard currency.
Wow.
Yes. Then you have thousands, if not millions, of rich Nigerian kids who are now going to school abroad. I was in Benin Republic just about over a week ago, and there is a school there. In that school, nearly 80% of the students are Nigerians. In Benin Republic, the North American University, if you check it out, you'll be shocked. Nearly 80% of the students are Nigerians. If you live there, you go to the Togo International School, you will meet thousands of Nigerian students. If you leave Togo and you're not going to Ghana, that's even... In Ghana today, I don't know of any school where there are no Nigerian students.
Wow.
So a lot of money is required. So, and when you travel to all those countries, you have to buy the dollar. You have to exchange the naira. So the pressure, and now look at Europe. In London, I doubt if there's any British school today, whether from primary to secondary to university, you must find Nigerians. Education is probably our biggest investment as a nation. But unfortunately, we have not been able to retain that investment within Nigeria.
Send it out.
We are sending all that money out. So when you calculate it, in America, people are going to school in Malaysia, in India, even as far as Australia. Wherever there is education, you will find a Nigerian. It's a good investment, but then it would have been easier on our country if we were able to go to university like we did in our own time.
Do they come back to Nigeria after they finish?
We've lost most of our kids. We've lost most of our kids to the international institutions. So who wants to go back to a country where you can't even get a job? And if you get a job, you are not sure if your company will survive. So we're losing a lot of these guys. But ultimately, when we have a good government, it will work in our favor.
Let's take our next caller. Hello, your name and where you're calling from.
Hello?
Yeah, hi. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah, my name is Ezra. I'm calling from London.
Edra?
Ezra, yeah.
Ezra. Okay, your quick question.
Thank you very much, Alisa. I just want to appreciate all your efforts and even our guest today.
Chief Dele momodu. Yeah.
Honestly speaking, there are a lot of things that are going on in Nigerian politics. But I want to start with this. The scholar made mention of a particular thing that says that if not that you do not want a para at all costs, they will not be featuring somebody like Buhari. Now, the question I want to ask is that he also mentioned of something that there are no other person other than Buhari to contest against good luck Jonathan if actually we are clamoring for a change. We want a change, and some people want the change to come from the north, not from the entirety of the whole Nigeria. Somebody like dele momodu, like a technocrat, that knows what he's doing. I know good people that are very, very sound, knowledgeable, technocrat, that know that are traveled far away and know what is happening in Nigeria, and that can make a change. They are here. Nobody ever supports them. Dele momodu is there, and he has what it takes to rule Nigeria. Nobody supported him. He is not because that they want the power to start at all costs. No, I want to say in essence that if actually APC wants a change, and the only party that is controlling, that is ruling, I want to rule now, they could have looked for a very sound, a new person that is from the north, young person that can rule, or that is people from the south, or from the middle belt, or from anywhere, and that people will now rally out the idea to make these people make a choose. Now, the reason why I said that the change do not know for the right candidate is because they are trying to see to recycling the whole military ruler as if they are the only people that have wisdom or brain or intellect that can rule Nigeria. Look for instance, my people say, I'm from the Yoruba land, they say that if you want to make a sacrifice for the God, you will leave the sheep or the ram that you want to use to do the sacrifice. You will leave it and let them continue doing the sacrifice. The cabal that are ex-military rulers, they never want to lose, they never want to leave, honestly, they never want to leave the power for the Democrats to rule the country.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Uncle Ezra.
Let me say that it is not as simple as it seems. Politics is a game of number, it's a game of money, it's a game of contact, it's a game of religion, it's a game of ethnicity. And I can tell you that the first thing is you need loads of resources to contest an election. There was no question in the minds of Nigerians that I was a good candidate. There was no question in the minds of Nigerians that Chief Ganifa Remi was a good candidate. He contested. He couldn't even win in any state.
Yeah.
So don't let us make it look so simple. We came out not because we were under an illusion that we can win. I will put it the way a very respectable Nigerian put it. Mr. Fole Adeola, who was Nuhu Ribadu's running mate in 2011. Please tell me any team that could have been better than that. A Nuhu Ribadu combining with Fole Adeola. They couldn't win.
That's right.
Because it is a game of number. It's not just about the money. At least a man like Fole Adeola had money. He told me something on the eve of our election. He called me. He said, Dele, I want to congratulate you for your steadfastness and the ability to fight the battle all the way. It wasn't easy. Even in my losing the election, I know other things that I lost with it. And what he said to me was that he didn't go into the election because he thought they would win, that he wanted to revalidate what he knew about Nigeria. And that's what we all gained from it. We saw that contesting election is not about your brains, it's not about your money, it's not about your religion, it's not about anything other than your ability to satisfy the different interest groups.
All around.
Buhari today is a darling in Nigeria because they say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Buhari is loved by the poor who see the rich as those responsible for their poverty and penury and situation in general. So Buhari's attractiveness is in that. And that is why even though the cabal don't want him, now they have a dilemma. What do we do with this man? Can we afford to tempt these poor people? We have not finished with Boko Haram. What if we now ignite a revolution in Nigeria? Right now, that's the worry of the cabal. They don't want Buhari, there's no question about that. An average businessman in Nigeria does not want Buhari because we are happy with the way we all are. Buhari is not a saint, but people have come to see in Buhari that glimmer of hope, that at least this one is not going to be driving Rolls Royce, is not going to be flying abroad every day looking for what he has not lost, is not going to waste our money on his girlfriends. That is what people are considering. People are thinking, you know, he's not going to have ministers that he cannot control, because, I mean, people already see him as that father figure. So let's forget about some people don't want to leave power, or they don't. Where we are today, we have a choice between Jonathan and Buhari, and that's the reality. And I advise those who are watching me, you have a choice. I'm not saying go and vote for Buhari, or go vote for who you feel you like for certain reasons. And if it's about your religion, feel free. If it's about, even Buhari said it in his interviews. He said those who don't like him have other options. That is democracy. Nobody is forcing anybody that you must go and vote for Buhari. But Buhari has been able to make incursion into areas he couldn't in the last election. We must give that to him. The ability of the APC to come together, to hold their primary elections without rancor or bitterness, and for them to run a fantastic campaign nationwide. Go and look at that movement. I watched the campaigns in Ibadan, in Lagos, in Osogbo, everywhere. I couldn't believe my eyes. So we have a chance either to go for their variance of change or to go for the continuity of PDP.
Very well. The choice is for the electorate to decide who they're going to vote for on March 28th. By the 29th of March next month, surely enough, Nigeria will begin to feel who is the new existing kept president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let's take our next caller. Your name and place where you're calling from.
Hello, my name is Ken.
Okay. You're welcome to the program.
I want to say thank you to all you telling us from there. But I want to ask you, why is it that Buhari did not come out for the debate? That is number one. Then secondly, what did Buhari left in that place that made him to come back again? Because I know there are a lot of better Nigerians like Dele who can become president, and the people are out there as an opposition to vote him or vote any other person. But why must it be Buhari?
Okay.
Because, hold on a minute, when Buhari was speaking...
I'm in control. Thank you. I'm in control.
Okay, I will answer you very quickly, sir.
Let me just say, you said one question and I allow you two questions. So, for democratic reasons.
Well, he made a lot of sense, and I thank you for your contribution, sir. When I contested, contrary to what you are saying now, that you have people like dele, momodu, who are this, who are that, there are people who queried my competence, my experience. Right, yeah. You understand?
Yes.
So whichever way you go, you are bound to have critics.
And those who like.
That's why I said it is not a simple, straightforward matter. Buhari today is one of the most experienced people we have in Nigeria. When you have a problem of monumental proportions as we do in Nigeria today, you run to your best materials. That is why you see that when people go to the World Cup, they don't just field young people. They bring in a few experienced players who know what to do if things are getting too difficult in the field of play. It's the same thing. Politics is like a game of football. It's about a team.
Even if they're all players.
Yes, there will always be one or two old players who can cause confusion and create problems for the enemy. That's why everybody's talking about Buhari now. Is anybody talking about Jonathan on this program? Everybody's talking about Buhari. Because Buhari right now is our biggest star, is a rally point. And the earlier we accept that reality, the better. I don't know about people who live here. You know, what you feel or see might be different from what those who live at home will see or feel. Buhari today is seen by many people as a man who can rescue Nigeria from the doldrums. And those who say no, they don't see him as such. President Jonathan is still running. And we have the next 5 weeks to decide whether we want to keep him in power or we want to vote him out of power.
Well, Nigerians, you have a choice. The choice is between those that you know are members of the APC, the new cabinet, his team, and of course the existing team of the PDP led by His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. He is, as many would say, performing incredibly well despite the challenges facing the country. But as others, like I said as well, if more is given to you, more is expected from you. Do you agree with that ideology? Let's listen to our next caller. Your name and please where you're calling from. Hello?
Yes, hello, good morning.
Morning, you're welcome to the program. Your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Tunji Idowu. I'm calling from Republic of Ireland.
You're welcome to the program.
Now, I actually want to say thank you to Bob D this morning for the enlightenment and education he has given to us this morning. It's wonderful to hear from him on the structure of Nigeria. I think we need this kind of education from someone like him regularly.
Okay. Thank you.
Now,
yeah. Is that
now, so my question is this.
Okay.
In considering what we have been hearing from a lot of people, big people that we know from Niger Delta, from the north, especially from Boko Haram side, and then from the Niger Delta side, I want Bob D to actually tell us the prognosis of Nigeria on the aftermath of the election. How do you see the aftermath of the election? What do you see playing out?
Thank you very much. That's a very good one. Mr. Tunji Idowu, thank you so much for the compliment. I appreciate you too. On the threats from some people in the Niger Delta that if their son does not win the election, Nigeria will burn, Nigeria will perish, or those in the north who are also saying that power must return to the north, and both of them are exchanging all these verbal blows as usual. I have good news for you, Mr. Idowu. The good news, and I've predicted it in my column, is that that election will be won by one person and it will be won resoundingly. It will be won so powerfully that nobody will be able to question it. You can question an election when it is 50-50. But what I can see clearly and what I can feel, because elections all over the world is about the mood of the nation. When Obama won, the mood was right for him in America. If there's going to be a change in Nigeria, trust me, if Buhari is going to lose that election, he will lose it so badly. And if it is President Jonathan, I can tell you. So it's a movement. And that is why they have to extend that election. Forget about PVC or anything. We did elections not too long ago in Ekiti. We did elections in Osun State. Nobody said enough people, voters will be disenfranchised or whatever. I am telling you that if the PDP was absolutely certain that they were going to win that election, even if only 30 people collected PVC, they would have gone ahead. Now some people are even fighting that they don't want us to use PVC. Something that we know can help us prevent electoral fraud to some extent. I mean, sometimes I wonder, are these people patriotic Nigerians at all? If we love our country, why can't we learn to do things right? Is it always about us? If I don't win election, I go back to my home. I was the first person to congratulate Jonathan in 2011. I invited Channels TV. They came over, they recorded. And I said, why some people were still fighting and saying, no, he didn't win. We didn't. No, it was clear enough. Maybe the election was not perfect, but it was clear enough that Jonathan won that election. So the same way, if Buhari wins this election, trust me, no Jupiter will be able to stop it. I'm telling you, the will of the nation, the mood that I see in Nigeria today, gone are those days when elections were one-sided. For anybody to win election today, you have to win in every part of Nigeria. If Jonathan wins the entire South-South, wins the entire South-East, it cannot make him president. People don't realize that fact.
So even if he wins South-South and South-East,
it cannot make him president.
Because he needs all the four.
Exactly. Chibawolo used to win a lot of elections in a lot of the votes in the South. It didn't make him president. It's the same thing we're facing here. You cannot win in a few places and think you will be president of the whole of Nigeria. So the earlier, if our...
So what about the when people are talking about the 25% in each state?
That is the thing. Right now, I don't know who is doing the mathematical calculations of configuration for PDP in particular. I've done it. If I titled it In Search of Mathematicians, and in my calculation, I realized that in 2011, Buhari had maybe only one governor in his party, CPC. Yes, only one. He had no other governor anywhere, whether in the north or in the south. And he was able to record 12 million votes.
Yeah.
At that time, Jonathan was able to beat him maybe by about 9 million votes.
That's correct.
Lagos and Kano alone can cancel all that.
They have about 10 million.
They can cancel all that, yes. About 10 to 11 million
That's
votes,
true.
if not more. So, by the time you now pick Borno, Sokoto, or your Rivers gave Jonathan
2 point something.
About 2 million, 1.9 something, nearly 2 million votes in the last election. There is no way APC will not get 40 to 50% this time. There is no way. There is nothing he can do. Because the governor there is very popular. He has performed and is young.
So he will retain at least 40 to 50%.
He's the Director General of Buhari's campaign. He will do everything to deliver his state, and that is why you see that even right now there are shootings and everything in the place, because the two factions want to take control of Rivers. But I assure you, this time around, there is no way Buhari will not get something in Rivers. There is no way he will not get something in Imo. There is no way he will not get something in Edo. There is no way he will not get something even in Delta. Because even in Delta, there are all kinds of divisions. The Lobos, the Chekiris, against the Ijos. So when you look at all those factions...
So in fact, I just wanted to pick that state, for example, when you mentioned Delta, that even in a single state, there's a division.
There's a division.
Because I'm now trying to look at the bigger picture that Nigeria as a nation, when we talk about this division, it's not really a big issue when even at state level, you still have that division.
It is incredible, trust me. Because, like I said, politics is a game of vested interests. And once some vested interests lose out in the calculus, they will fight. There is hardly anywhere you go today that PDP is not facing problem. In fact, in some parts of the north, it is so bad that some people campaign for gubernatorial PDP, National Assembly PDP, State Assembly PDP, but they cannot put Jonathan in their poster. It happens. And some of them are even controlled by PDP government. So what does that tell you? It tells you that it's not going to be very easy. In fact, my prediction, and I want anybody to write down, if that election takes place, if that election takes place. Oh yeah, because some people, if they think they cannot win the election, it will be beyond Jonathan now. That cabal, people think the cabal only exists in the north. We have cabal in the south. There are those who have made up their minds that there is no way Jonathan will lose the election. Just the same way that some people have made up their minds that Buhari will not. But Jonathan controls the apparatus of power today. The appurtenances of power are held by Jonathan. So the only man who can build Nigeria right now is Jonathan. The only man who can destroy it is Jonathan. Wow. He has the power.
Indeed, President Goodluck Jonathan, as dele momodu says here live on Ben Television, is he has the power because he is the man in charge as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Either way, Election, we hope, will take place on the 28th of March 2015. Let's hear about our next caller, your name and where you're calling from, please.
Princess.
Princess, you're calling from?
From London here.
Okay, you're welcome to the program.
Okay, thank you. It's 4 questions I want to ask.
Wow. I'm not sure. Okay, well, let's start. If my directors give me eye, then I'll take.
Okay, number 1, you said you run for your life during Abacha. And now, why are you supporting a dictator?
Okay, that's number 1.
Time, he killed a lot of people.
Number 2.
And this time too, when during the election, many NYSC died. Think about it if you are the one who died that time.
Is that your second question?
No, NYC who killed?
Fayose said, Buhari was in a hospital. I don't think he said that he's in the hospital. He said he went for checkup. And everybody, 99% of us in London here, we do go for checkup.
Okay, number 3.
About whether it was for checkup or something like that.
Number 3.
Number 3. You mentioned
number 3 already.
You said Lagos State is better in APC. You can remember you are a Yoruba and been there for a long time. Lagos State is continuation. And I was born in Lagos State. I go regular to Nigeria all the time. If you go to Abulega, Ejigo, Agege, all those rural areas, because there's one channel who interviewed this so-called Lagos State governor too. Ask him, are you for a rich or you are for poor? Because we Lagosians, we know that he doesn't do anything in that area.
Okay, the last question.
Amosu, I would say Amosu tried in a little bit in some areas. But in the rural area too, they didn't go inside. Number 3. Number 4, why did APC, which you are supporting, and you've mentioned America, you've mentioned London, did not support President Jonathan on Boko Haram?
Thank you very much, Princess. Thank you, Princess. Let's see if dele momodu will be able to answer.
Princess, you really prepared for me, and I appreciate your love for your country. It takes extreme patriotism for you to do what she has done now. I would take it one by one. Why am I supporting a dictator? Not all dictators are totally bad. That's the way I like to put it. I wish I had an alternative. But like I said, I have an option between Jonathan and Buhari. And despite everything you may say about Buhari, I think Buhari will do a better job. That is my opinion.
That's what it's all about.
Jerry Rawlings was a dictator in Ghana. He was able, Ghanaians, I mean, this is debatable. Some Ghanaians called him Junior Jesus. Some Ghanaians called him Junior Judas. You know, so it's always a question of preference. For me, what I've seen now is that even if I give Jonathan another 4 years or 8 years or 10 years, he cannot perform beyond his level. That is that. Then on the issue of some people died and that if someone close to me died or whatever, trust me, there have been all kinds of things said about Buhari. I don't think Buhari said anybody should go and kill NYC people. Election violence can break up anywhere. Anywhere. You have them fighting. Usually, even the children of the politicians will never come out. It's these same poor people who need help that will get killed in the process. So it's regrettable that people have died during the election violence in Nigeria, and we pray that such a thing will never happen again in our country.
Amen.
Then about Fayose saying Buhari went on checkup.
No,
the reason why it is so controversial is because Fayose himself is very controversial. Maybe you are not aware, man, that Fayose actually published in the Punch newspaper in Nigeria an advert, full front page advert, where he listed all those who died in power in Nigeria and then put Buhari last with question mark. Will Buhari also die in power? I mean, that to me is unfortunate because age is not a determinant of who will die first.
That's true.
Buhari can die before Fayose can die. So, but we don't pray that either of the two will die. We need them alive. They are both making their contributions to nation building. So there is no reason why we should drag politics to the level of wishing our opponents dead. And that is my reaction to that. But I am even saying that it is possible. I don't know if Buhari has seen a doctor or we see a doctor. Anybody can see a doctor. You can go to a pharmacy. You are in London. Anybody can walk into a clinic. But I am telling you specifically that Buhari is not here because he needs a doctor. A man who went through that rigorous campaign, trust me, even small me, when I campaigned, I knew what it took out of me. And Buhari walking through that crowd, shaking hands, talking, holding meetings late into the night for the past few months, and he has not collapsed. Let us thank God on his behalf, and let us wish him more energy and better health. Then on the issue of Lagos State, I didn't say Lagos State has become an Eldorado, a paradise. I said we have seen some glimpses of hope. Nobody today would say Lagos is not better than what. You see, there is no nation, even if you go to New York today, you go to Harlem, you will see ghettos. There is nowhere. I've been to some parts in America, in New York, and I couldn't believe the filthy environment that I saw. In fact, I told the guy driving me, I said, are you sure we're in America? Or we have suddenly gone somewhere else? So, they can't fix it all in one day. But they've started well. And I remember listening to Amosu when someone asked him the same question about not fixing their part of the state.
Yes.
I watched that program. Yes. And his response was that we can't do it all in one day. And that the priority areas are usually the cities. Because those who will come to see the government will start from the city. Nobody goes first to the village. It's from the city. The
airport.
Exactly. You want to see the facilities at the airport. You want to see the hotels. Okay. Right now, Lagos State, I was involved in that. We've just graded most of the hotels in Lagos. And why? Because anybody coming from America or from London now, going home, wants to know where he can stay when he gets there. He wants to know the 3-star hotels. He wants to know the 4-star hotels. And the 5-star. He wants to know the 5-star hotels, depending on your pocket. So now we've been able to provide that for the first time. The governor personally called me and said, please, Bobby, I said, why didn't you ask the commissioner? He said, no, God, he knows I will dodge. And we agreed to do it. It wasn't for money, it wasn't for anything. It's for our country. Any governor doing anything anywhere, whether you are PDP or anything, if we have something to contribute to it, we will do it. It has nothing to do with politics.
That's true.
That's why I said I'm not in APC, and people don't believe it. I say it every day, people still don't believe. I just happen to be supporting Buhari on this assignment. It does not mean that I may not decide to go and support a governorship candidate who belongs to another party. So that's the way it is. Then the last one, why did APC not support President Jonathan on Boko Haram? I don't think that is very true, man. Even the body language of President Jonathan suggested that they were not serious about fighting Boko Haram. He acknowledged it yesterday. If you go and read the news now, it's over. He said he underrated Boko Haram, the security situation in the place. You see, that's why I said some people must have been misleading Mr. President. That's why sometimes I pity him. I sympathize. He himself said it. He said he gets contradictory messages, reports, and advice from his aides. I pity him. He can't see it all, he can't know it all, but then it is his duty as the leader to go all out to find out the truth. When those Chibok girls were abducted and we started making noise, they said we are enemies of government. Everything in Nigeria now, once you say anything, they say you don't like Jonathan. Why won't we like our own president? We have nothing against our president. But the truth must be told at all times. We told him that those girls have been abducted. People abused us on social media. It is not true. Show us their pictures. Who are they? On the CNN, one day brought all these girls covered up in one bush somewhere in Sambisa or wherever they were kept. It took the president 3 weeks to make a statement. How can over 200 students, females, disappear from their school hostel, and nobody will make an effort to find out. All we are hearing is political, and you are saying APC did not support them. Well, as a matter of fact, PDP was saying at the time that APC was their first suspect. So what do you want them to do? And APC says, if you have any evidence so that any member of this party is involved in Boko Haram, arrest the person. That's what I expect. Even the president himself said some members in his own cabinet, people close to him, are members of Boko Haram. What happened? Did anybody touch them? No. So don't let's take it as a political thing about Nigeria. Some people for a long time believe that, well, since it is happening in the north, I used to hear that Yoruba thing, Gambari Pafulani, that kind of thing. So they are still part of Nigeria. And any man who aspires to govern over Nigeria must carry every inch of that territory along.
Right? To become a leader in Nigeria, every person from every state, 774 local government, either Christian, Muslim, no faith, so long you're a Nigerian, even if you don't yet have your Nigerian passport, but you're born by a Nigerian parent, you are a Nigerian. And so, to become a leader in Nigeria, as Chief Dele would say, you must be seen to embrace each and everybody. Maybe something that each and everyone that is potentially trying to become a leader is now adopting. The question is it too late? Or are we, as some of them say, we're playing the extra time of 2015 election in Nigeria? More than 50 million of Nigerian electorate probably do have their PVC card now. But surely enough, it will not be certain that all the people that are registered will have their PVC, because it's never been done anywhere. And at the international level, all those that are registered technically do not all go out to cast their vote. In the United Kingdom, we have to take on record that it's only during the Scottish referendum that they have more than 80% people that actually go out to cast their views and opinion. So we're not lagging behind, but in terms of leadership and election situations, some of the time really is becoming something that gives worries to Nigerians and international stakeholders. And they pray, and we do as well, that Nigeria will get it right. We will not use this election to generate new things that we surely do not want Nigeria to be part of. As I say, I pledge peace, IPP, for Nigerian election to be peaceful. As we go on, let's take our next caller. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
My name is Mike, and I'm calling from Amsterdam in Netherlands.
You're welcome to the program, Mike. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. I want to thank Dele Momodu for his contribution so far, and I have a very important question for him. I understand that he's supporting Buhari, and I myself am also supporting Buhari, but I want to know, please, what strategies does Buhari have right now? What have you put on ground to be able to fight corruption? Because you have just answered my last question when you said everyone will not, everybody that registered, they are not supposed to have a voter's card, or we have and some don't have. Even in Lagos, we filed Lagos last week. I have gone to my local government poll by almost 7 times to collect my voter's card, which they did not give me my permanent voter's card. Everybody, we are almost like 18 of us who are not Lagosians, who are not Yoruba. They are not giving out. Even when I told the guy, I am for APC, I am going to vote for Buhari, please, if you people are delaying this voter's card because APC are using the strategy for not giving out voter's card to people who are not Yoruba because they believe they will not vote for Buhari, give him my voter's card. They said they come tomorrow, they are left Nigeria and it's not collected. And this is my question. Where and how will the strategies for him to fight corruption, this will be able to admire at least 3 points of it right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, all the way from Amsterdam.
Thank you so much, Brother Mike. And also, I salute your effort trying to get your PVC in Nigeria. It's unfortunate that things are not the way they should be, but we hope they will get it right eventually. But on the specific strategy Buhari would use to fight corruption, I don't have anything directly from him, but I can only fathom a guess. And my guess is that number one, if the head is good, the body will be okay. If the head is rotten, then the whole body may decay. So we are going to have a leader who will lead by example. And because of that, people are going to be watching. What happens in Nigeria is that people look at the body language of the man at the top. Even in your own company, if they see that you don't care, anytime you come to the office, the whole place is upside down, is dirty, and you've never complained, nobody, who wants to clean it for you? Just get paid. So people who lazy around, do whatever, and go back home. At the end of the month, you pay all the bills.
That's right.
So I think that's where Buhari becomes very, very important to Nigeria. We need a leader. You see, one key element of leadership is trust. Most people believe that no matter what you say about Buhari, call him a murderer, call him killer, call him anything, you cannot say he's a corrupt man. His life, his personal conduct in life, as a politician, as a leader, as a father figure, shows clearly that he's a disciplined man with very limited needs in life. He doesn't need much. Like I said, I don't see him now going to carry so many women up and down, saying, come and meet me in Paris, come and meet me in New York. I don't see Buhari doing that. Because when you look at the issues of Nigeria, profligacy is part of the reason why people have to steal. They steal in arrears, they steal in advance. People steal what they don't need. Because trust me, if you have just $10 million in life,
you should be able
and you are able to get 10% returns on that,
per annum.
That's $1 million.
$1 million.
So which means every month you have access to over $500,000. I mean, where are you going? But you see people with billions, they are still not satisfied. I know so many people who are swimming in money. They don't even know what to do with it. And yet they have not stopped looking for more. You know, so sometimes you become a slave of money. People who don't know me think, oh, he's a wealthy man. No. Contentment. I manage my biggest investment in life is to be able to send my kids to school.
That's it.
That's all. So I can assure you that Buhari will be able to tackle them because he himself will not be a rogue. But the moment a leader gets to office, he calls the secretary to government, he calls the chief of staff, he calls all of them and say, hey, so tell us, permanent secretaries, so which areas can we explore? We need to get some money. We have to start getting money ready for the next election. Buhari is the only candidate I've ever seen in Nigeria who went to the primary election and told the delegates frontally,
I don't have it.
He said, I don't have money. And even if I have it, I can't give you. Politicians don't talk like that. In fact, politicians will tell you, I have plenty of money, so that he knows people will line up. Once people can smell money, it's like...
So actually, let me just quickly take this line. On the basis that Buhari said he doesn't have money, do you think for people who are aspiring to go into politics that always maybe believe Godfather and money is very important, that there's this guy has opened a new window for them?
Exactly. Look, the day I went through my own primary elections, in a party funded by the likes of Ganifa Wahimi, National Conscience Party, you will not believe it. I woke up that morning and report got to me that 2 of my opponents were already going from room to room meeting the delegates. Me, I was the poorest man. I started crying. In fact, when my campaign manager entered my hotel room that day, he saw me crying. He burst into tears. Because while people were supposed to be giving money to delegates, you know what I was giving them? I said they should give every room of the delegates copies of ovation. But why did I do that? Because for me, it wasn't a matter of life and death. I want to serve my nation. If my people reject me, so be it. Immediately I lost election, I went back to my job. I have a job. And that's why I tell you that politics must never be a permanent and full-time vocation for anybody. Even when you are going to power, if tomorrow I have to go into power, I will only resign temporarily from ovation. I'm on secondment to serve my nation.
Which is allowed.
That's all. I will always come back there. And even from there, I can't see myself today. I will say because I'm minister, then I will kill ovation. Something that has given me
where you are,
has made me who I am, has given opportunities to so many Nigerians, so many Africans and non-Africans. I will kill it because of politics, then I must be a madman. Go and look at most of our politicians. Once they go into government, they kill their business. Once you do that, of course, you have to steal money. But if you know that there is something for you to return to when you finish your assignment in government, then you will make sure that once in a while you still find out from the people there, how are you doing? Is there anything we can do to help? Is there anyone we can talk to? I tell people, you don't have to steal government money to make it. My life is a testimony to the fact that you don't have to go into government to steal. Some of the cars I drive, if you have a good business, you will see people will offer you those cars.
True.
People will offer you things. I remember when BMW, the 5 Series came out in Nigeria. Long ago, the company selling it came and said, Mr. Momodu, can you come to our showroom? And I went there. And they took me around. They said, we ovation should take pictures, do everything. And when I was going, they said, are you interested in one of these? I said, I can't afford it. They said, no, we're ready to give you one. Because we know if you drive a lot of people will see it. It's done here. It's called endorsement.
Well, I need to join you actually because I saw you playing football as well.
I'm a ambassador, yes. You know, so that's how it works. If you make a good name, everybody wants to identify with a good name. Last year, the Porsche in Nigeria sent a message to me that they want to give me a Porsche Cayenne worth 20 million. I should just pay 6 million. And I told them, I said, no, I don't have any 6 million to pay. They said, okay, they can give me another car, a Touareg, completely free. All I need to do is give them publicity. I said, thank you. The Touareg is about 16 million. I now used my common sense. I said, why would I drive a 16 million car when the people working under me may have nothing? So I called the company. I said, since you are ready to give me this 16 million naira worth, so can you give me 2 cars worth 16 million? Do you know? They agreed. And I gave one to my editor, and I took one. That's how I live. Live and let live. Any other leader greedily would have said, oh, give me the Touareg. Then everybody working under you will have nothing.
That's right.
That is what Nigerian leaders need to learn. That when you learn to give something to someone, MK Abiola didn't know us from Adam. I worked for him in Concord. He said he liked my style of writing. And from there, it changed my life. How do I compensate MK Abiola? It is by also doing the same to other people.
Amen. Amen. Well, speaking to Chief Dele Momodu, publisher of Ovation International Magazine and international African businessman, semi-part-time politician, as we begin to round up, let me quickly thank you for being here. As one of the callers has indicated, you have educated the viewers, you have educated Nigerians and the international community that are probably watching the channel. What would be your last message for now, especially with the coming election for Nigerians and the diasporan community?
My message to fellow Nigerians is very simple. Let us begin to think more positively about that country. What you ask usually is what you get. If we ask for trouble, we will get trouble. But if we ask for peace and tranquility, we shall get both. It's not difficult. And it is easier. The price of peace is always cheaper than the price of violence. The cost of violence is nothing easy. The next election, see it as a game. That's the way, that's how I can enjoy politics. You can never enjoy politics if you see it as a war. It's a game to be enjoyed. Vote for a candidate of your choice and leave the rest to God. If your candidate wins, clap for him. If he fails, clap for the winner. At the end of the day, there can only be one winner in a game of 2 people. God bless our country.
Wow, there's only one winner in the game of two people. And it seems like that's the situation in Nigeria. Two major parties that have already shown their full interest and full pledge. They've signed the peace accord in Abuja, and they are fully getting ready for March 28, 2015 election. We thank you for staying with us here at www.bentelevision.com, channel Sky 182, Freeview 244, and on Star Time. Until the next episode of our program, as you know, daily 10 to 12, 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. Thank you, and God bless you for now. Nigeria, good people, great nation. Bye for now.
In diversity, blessed beyond compare.
Àsìkò ìbò tuntun dé fún àwọn ará Nàìjíríà. Ta lẹ fẹ́ yàn fún ìjọba Nàìjíríà? Ṣé PDP ni àbí APC àbí pátì mìíràn tó wà níta? Ẹ má jọ kán lóyìn fún ìjà tó bẹ́ẹ̀ láti yan anybody ní Nàìjíríà. Torí bẹ́ẹ̀ la fi sọ pé kẹ́ lo nǹkan tó wà lọ́wọ́ yín. Ìgbò kan, èèyàn kan, kẹ́ fún ẹni tó yẹ kó jẹ́ ẹni tó dáa fún Nàìjíríà.